Hi, this is JilliBling. Today's project is all about summer. Are you ready to go to the beach? So this project is using Waves of Inspiration bundle. Beautiful stamp set, but the waves are so much fun. And you know, when I get a new die set and I'm unsure, how do these all work together? I just take some scrap paper, cut them out, and then I just see, is it better if this one is on top or if this one is on top? But just to have them cut out, it makes all the difference. And we'll be using most of the dies. There's little bird dies, but lately all my projects, they've been so detailed and I've had dies floating all over the place. I thought, let's just use the stamp. And here's the stamp. And that works just fine. Sure, it would be cute if I had those cut out, but lately I've been doing a little bit too much at the die cut machine. And these pieces, I'll show you these in just a minute. This is like a cloud enhancer. You can add an extra little bit to the clouds. But you know the clouds, the die, I'll show you here in just a minute, it kind of adds the same texture that these would. But I'll show you it with this and how it looks without it. So you ready to do today's project? I am. So we'll be using this silver paper, and when you buy this silver foil paper, it comes in three different tones of silver. Probably should have the page open to that. And you know, Barbara was just asking me about the paper. She goes, well, where'd you find that paper? And I'm like, the specialty paper page has a lot on it. And I think a lot of it gets overlooked. So this is the specialty paper page on page 127. And here are the foil. These three, number one, holographic trio. So it's 3 different foils. And when you look at this, that looks almost like a light pool party. That looks a little crazy. And then this purple one. And yes, they do all go together. There's no doubt about that. But we'll be using these two. But all these other papers, they're beautiful. Like even this, it has a really fine shimmer to it, and it doesn't show it in the catalog. But that's Pebbled Path. Of course, we've used the Distress Gold many times. These papers, these colors are similar. And you get 2 of each of the colors with this super fine shimmer, and they're beautiful. Same with these here too. And we had something like this a few years ago at the holidays, a really chunky glitter. Oh, but that makes beautiful cards. Okay, let's get started. Let's make this card because it is totally awesome. Maybe we could do one landscape this time, and there's birthday words in here. Like this happy birthday. Oh, and there's word dies. Like see this shape? I'll show you those in a minute. Okay. Pieces. That's to do the words. I want to do the happy birthday. So let's just get that done. Happy birthday. And the ink pads, let me see if I don't think you could see them. And I have blending brushes on them. So I have Versamark and Memento. We'll use Versamark for heat embossing in white. Then there is Azure Afternoon, Tahitian Tide, and Blueberry Bushel. But we'll use those in just a minute. So let's do the happy birthday in Versamark and then into white powder. Might as well do 2 of them. And when you stamp it, make sure to leave enough room for the die, because the die is a little bit bigger. And after I get powder, after I heat this, I'll show you what I'm talking about there. Oh, look at my Norway. My Norway. Okay, some people get t-shirts. Okay, I got 2 souvenirs. This is my souvenir. These little spoons, it's brand new. I think maybe it has some kind of oil in it because it's holding the embossing powder. But that's okay. It's really cute and it fits perfectly. And it works. Yeah, when I feel it, there's a little oil on it. It's probably like olive wood or something. I should look up what they're famous for. Okay, so I'm going to heat set this. Don't we all love heat embossing? My very first party, 24 years ago, I did heat embossing, and it maybe was a second party, but it was like, I have to do this hobby. Okay, so the die, this is for the narrow words. Okay, just happy birthday, or whatever else you have around your stamp room. It won't fit these other ones. And then there's a bigger die, this die here, and that fits the bigger words. That's one I used on the sample, this one here. Look, it has a cute little stitching, perfect place for a ribbon. Okay, so this one here, remember how I said to stamp in a little bit, allow yourself enough room for the die? That's because this die is a little bit, maybe longer than you would expect. But if you stamped happy birthday way over there, you wouldn't get the die fully on the navy blue cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. Isn't that just cute? And look, it has little holes for ribbon. And this ribbon, did you see this ribbon? Look how nice that is. And it's really soft. Here it is. This is called bordered ribbon, pecan pie. But look at that. Can you tell how soft it is? So it's just a piece wrapped around the front. Use tear tape to hold it underneath, and it was woven through the greeting before I wrapped it around. But we'll do the same thing here. Same thing with natural wavy trim. Oh, that's perfect. Wavy trim. We're doing a wave. I don't know that it really goes, but this is like the on the beach, how there's all those grasses. This is a pretend those grasses. Little pin. And because I don't know if I'm going to do a landscape or portrait yet, we'll do this in just a minute. Okay, and that's to put the ribbon on. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, so, oh, and the paper. So this is, here they are. Look at that. And you know, I'm doing this video in June, and it's Pride Month. Can you see the rainbow? It's a rainbow. Then, look at this one. It's equally, wow. You know, if you had a whole piece of this, or a half a piece, or even a strip on a card, it won't take much. So these are the papers. And I have both of them in the project box. So let's use this one this time. Okay, so for the dies, there's two waves. And you know how I cut them out of solid color paper just to play around with them? Two different ones. The way to tell the difference between them is the top. This one has 2 wave curls, and this one has 3. Which one goes on top? I don't know. I don't know for sure. This one I put because I wanted the silver on top, so I put the 2 wave bits on top of the 3 wave bits. So should we do that again or do it opposite? No, let's do it again. I want the shiny silver to be on top. Okay, so it is 3 wave bits go on the white, and 2 wave bits goes onto the silver. And you're like, you didn't cut it long enough, but this square right here is 3.5 by 3.5. I cut the waves to 3 by 3. First of all, because I get considerably more out of a sheet of paper, and that's really all we need. I'm going to use the bird to cover up the gap, and I'll show you that in just a minute. What is that? Well, it's going to be gone here in a minute. Come on. Okay, it's gone. Okay, so I'm going to cut these out. So for that piece of silver foil, all that noise it was making, as in bright visual noise, there it is. And that's going to go on top of here. Okay, so let's get to making the wave on the, see, I end up with no room every time. Okay, these bits, we'll work with these in a minute. Well, we'll do that in a minute. That's bird paper. Okay, all these pieces are driving me crazy. Start with the bottom. Base paper, Night of Navy. And I'll put all the paper cut sizes on my blog. And my blog is JilliBling.com. And I have a new blog, and I'm loving it. It has a completely different feel, but all the little buttons work. Everything about it is working. You have to love that. I know I just had my scissors. Okay, so Azure Afternoon. These two will go on the inside. Here we go, we're getting it. This one goes on the top, but we'll texture that. And these go right here. Whew. Oh, and we might do it this way. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's stamp on the white. And I have a few tricks for that. Not that it's hard, but while making this one, I stamped up too high and I had a big white space down here. Don't like that. So I have a few tricks. White paper, black memento ink, big stamp with my hands. It's like almost too big for my hands. I don't think I'm that short, but maybe a little short. Anyhow, this is a way to get around it. Put the ink on here. Get good coverage. Because it's kind of a random pattern, if you kind of forget to get ink right there, it's okay. Anyhow, it might be covered up by that sparkly paper. Okay, while it's upside down, I'm going to put this paper on, and I'm not going to put it down like that, otherwise I'll have that big white gap. I'm going to make sure I see the stamp here, and I see the stamp over there. Then, because I don't like getting dirty, I use scratch paper. And now this wave should perfectly be in the bottom corner. Look at that. And are you saying in your head, why are you making a black wave? We'll add color. But since I have this out, I'm going to do the inside of the card. Well, I'll wait, because I still don't know if I can make it landscape rather than portrait. So we'll come back to this for the inside of the card in just a minute. Okay, so to apply color, this is kind of fun. I have to put a bird there. How do these things happen? I don't know. Blending brushes. So let me pull these colors closer. I have 3 different tones of aqua-like blue. There, you could see them. This one is the lightest, so I'm going to start with that one. And when you look at this card, see how there's a light bit here on the top? I'm going to do that starting with Tahitian Tide, the lightest one. And I don't think it matters. You could put any color anywhere. It's fine. And when you apply color using a blending brush, oh, isn't that funny how it soaked in green? It's going to dry lighter. So when I touch down, it's going to look like that. Don't worry, it'll dry lighter. And because this is so busy, you won't see the touchdown heaviness of it. But I'm just going to lightly kind of rub over there. Less ink on the brush, the softer it gets. See how this is getting a little bit softer? But I kind of want my wave to have like real strong color. Not so much that I'm trying to cover up the black, but I want it to look like a blue ocean wave. Ooh, like those, like when you go to Alaska, those icebergs, you know how they're that beautiful blue? I want a little hint of that color. And then the next color in line in heaviness is Azure Afternoon, which is this color paper right here. So a little bit of ink, and how about down here? Isn't that pretty? I went up over the wave, but that's okay. That's part of the splash. How's that? And I'm trying to apply Azure Afternoon, but I don't want to take away the Tahitian Tide. I want all three of these colors to be shown on this wave. I guess I'm leaving this for the blueberry bushel, maybe a little bit in that corner. And when you really look at it, it's like, yeah, it's kind of a mess, but it's soft. I think it's going to be just fine. Okay, this over here, that's sea spray. Yeah. Okay, and finally, blueberry bushel, the deepest, heaviest color. These are all brand new pads. So much fun. Okay, I know I definitely want it down here. Ooh, look at that. Maybe a little over here. And then I'm going to do the sky. In the sky, you could do it, okay, there's going to be a cloud right there. However light or dark you want it, but when it's a little bit dark, that makes the clouds look really bright and white. But I definitely want a break in it. And you could tell I'm not perfectly blending this, but that's okay. Like there's some big old streaks right there. And it's a little bit light here, a little bit light there, but that's okay. Okay, let's put the birds on. Birds and black. Probably should decide where I put the clouds. Oh, the clouds, I haven't done those yet. Okay, some birds. Isn't that nice? Okay, I should put some birds on the inside. Did I put them in here? Yes. Oh, I did a whoops. I tilted too much, so I tried to put another bird right over the top. Oh, and did you notice the happy birthday right up here? Really faint. In person you see it a lot better. Maybe if I use the bolder words it will show up more. We'll do that today. Okay, done with birds. I think this part is done. Let's put the waves on. And I want the silver on top because I really like that silver. Okay, so the white first. Oh, I think I'm almost out of glue. Uh-oh, I just pulled my little top off. Oh. Carry on. Okay, I might have to pull out my big glue bottle. So I want the glue definitely around the edges and on the ends. And then maybe just a touch here and there. Edges. Just going to put it in the corner. Look at that. Aren't you impressed? I'm impressed. Stampin' Up, I'm impressed. That's really pretty. You notice how I did this one a little bit darker? That makes the sparkly show beautifully. Ooh, look at that. Okay, okay, okay. Let's put this on. Oh, it's dripping. Oh, now a cloud has to go there. Oh, that's bad. And if you're thinking, oh, it'll just dry clear, it takes the ink that's below it and it's going to gather it into, I'll show you in a minute. Sometimes it's hard doing glue on areas that you've already stamped for that exact reason, and I'll show you in a minute. Don't do what I did. Glue, glue, glue. I don't have any stories to tell. No stories today. I don't think. Okay, glue on the ends. Carolyn and Lori were here for a handful of days. They're working on Mama's calendars. I think I just need to get the pin in this thing. It just keeps on going. There, stop going. Yeah, they were here. We had a good time. They came to class one day. Okay, I'm just making sure to get this in the bottom corner. Look how pretty and sparkly that is. I love this paper. I love this paper in moderation. That's what it is. Because if it was too much, like a whole bunch of it, it would just be too much. Okay, this is looking good. Oh, glue on the finger, glue up here, another cloud. I'm going to need more clouds. Okay, so you know how I was saying try not to get glue on an area that has been stamped? And that is because of that right there. It's like the liquid takes the ink and it kind of pushes it to the edge. It changes the look of things. Even when it dries clear, it's still going to be that dark spot. But you know, this card is still going to look good. If I have to, I'll cut more clouds. Okay, good, good, good. And what is this one? This one's for the bird. Let's do the bird. The bird, I think that's a pelican. Because I looked up a seagull, and that's not a seagull. I looked up a pelican, and they're just kind of gray. And they had some, and it had kind of a little bit of a coral gray tone. But they're not all that colorful. So I was thinking, what color should I put this stamp in? And that's one whole stamp. Then I thought I'm going to stamp it in Memento and use the blends to put a little bit of gray on the post. Because you know when something is water or sea washed, it turns gray. And he can be crumb cake. That's the plan. Memento, bird, bird, bird. Bird. Look at that. Cute bird. Then, to color it in, keep in mind, this isn't going to be fancy. What do I have here? Granite gray. I'm going to do granite gray dark. Because it's almost already looking the way I want it to, I'm just applying just a little bit of color. No super blending needed. Just along the edges. I'll avoid the rope. I'll pretend like that's white rope. Over here on the edge. So this is granite. Can be smoky slate. Okay. Then granite light. Just to fill in the rest of it. Just a hint of color. Don't take your time coloring every little bit, because it's whitewashed, ocean washed. Then the bird, crumb cake. So I'm going to just do areas that might have shadows in them, and I'm avoiding his I don't know that that's a beak. The pelican mouth, crumb cake light. I'm just coloring in the rest of the bird. Maybe a little bit of blending, not too much. And then his mouth is going to be ivory. Just a little bit of a different hue. I'll hold this up close. Not that it's perfect or anything, but you can see that's definitely the grays, crumb cake dark, crumb cake light, and then that's ivory. And there is a die to cut it out. Okay. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Oh, you know this paper? Well, I don't know where to put it yet. I was going to say, I have that splatter. I want to put texture on it, but I'm not sure where to put it yet. So I'm trying to get this one to go this direction. I think the splatter right over here, just because there's not much showing. Okay. Splatter. Perfect for this. Perfect for this beachy card. Stripes and splatters. Okay, a little bit of texture. Well, this definitely gets put on too. Onto the navy layer. Okay, and this, oh, we have to do words, but I know that because there's like the sparkly paper and the silver has a gap, well, the words might go there. Okay, words. How about words? Where's the happy, we did happy birthday, right? Well, that's kind of collage looking. What do you think? There's a little bit of texture here. How about, oh, I think that this, once I get this on, well, we'll see. See the plastic tape? Okay, so this is going to stretch. That looks good. That's like a sailor. He was weaving his rope. And I'm going to add on just like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch extra, so I can wrap it behind the azure paper. Okay. So this gets woven through the die cut label for the greeting. It's going to go there somewhere. Okay, I definitely know the wave is going to go right in the middle of this azure afternoon paper, and that's going to go down flat. The bird can be on dimensionals. I need me some clouds. Okay, that looks good. Now, this is going to go here. And this will go up a little higher. Oh, I kind of like that. I'm being all artsy. Maybe right about there. Okay, so the bird goes on first with dimensionals. Put a mini dimensional up higher. We still have to do the inside with the blending brushes. Okay, so this will go right here. Then that's going to go there. Just like that. So I'll put dimensionals underneath either end of the greeting. Okay, and then to stick the ribbon underneath, I'm going to use tear tape. I'll show you why. Because using, well, Stampin' Seal is really sticky. Oops, I don't have much room over here. But see, did you see how it just kind of wants to jump up off of there? If you're using Stampin' Seal, that's good. If you're using just about anything else, this little piece of ribbon will like to jump up. But I'm definitely going to use tear tape because that's really strong. That will hold it in place. Okay, and pick up these papers. And Stampin' Seal. Just because there's so much dimension from the things on the top already, like the bird, I don't need to add more dimension. So this will go right on top. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, and then the clouds. The clouds. Okay, so I said we're going to talk about the clouds. So when you look at the clouds here, let me hold it on this. 2 different size clouds. And these little cutouts in the clouds just create a little bit of interest when you run it through. It doesn't cut anything. It just, the paper gets pressured through there and it just adds a little bit of a raised area where these little cutouts are. But there's more to it than just that. So that's what we're going to do today. Just keep it a little simple. So let me start with that and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. There was that little add-on, the cloud add-on die. Okay, so let me cut these out. So here's the clouds. And if I hold it up, I get it right at the right angle. Can you see that little bit of a shadow where it kind of popped it up a little bit? So the other die, which are these two, look how they perfectly fit on there. And it's going to cut out just this little strip. So if you did that in a different color, am I doing that one right? Or should it be at the top? Well, I have them cut out. Let me show you what they look like. So I thought I'd cut them out of the sparkly paper. But look how that just lays on there, perfectly fitting. But because the sparkly paper has just a little bit of warmth to it, I don't like the look. So I'm not going to use them, but I wanted to show you how fun that is. Can you see those little pieces on there? So maybe if you sponge the cloud blue, then the sparkly white would look really good. And I know that there's a good way to use it, but I'm just not going to use it today. But at least you could see how fun it can be, because those look like cloud puffs and swirls and swooshes. Okay, clouds. Let's get these clouds on with dimensionals. And you know I need them here, and then also my finger touched the glue over there. So I guess that's determining where the clouds are going to go. And I'm purposely going to have the clouds drifting over into the darker colors, because that makes the clouds look really nice and white. But if I'm trying to cover up my whoops, is that whoops so bad? Maybe like that. I was thinking maybe something over here. Oh, that does look good over there, huh? This one is more substantial. Okay, I'll cover up a bird just for cloud placement. Definitely need one right here though. Okay, that little whoops, I'm going to pretend like I don't see it. That looks good. Okay, so these are going to go on with dimensionals. Then we can work on the inside. So for the inside, I'll just do the wave and some birds and a little bit of blending brush. You know, if you decorate it too much, there's no room to write. Sometimes that's a good thing. I always never know what to write. Store-bought cards, Stampin' Up! Greetings, they know what to say. Okay, clouds. So that's the front of the card. Doesn't that look nice? I would love receiving this. Okay, so for the inside, we get to use that big stamp the whole way across the bottom. That's going to be fun. Okay. Memento. Big stamp. Memento everywhere. Or should I do, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking about the words on the inside. On the sample card, I did that in white heat embossing, and then I did sponging over the top. But I don't want the white embossing to stick to the moisture in this ink. Well, let's give it a try. There's always the other side of the paper. So when I put this down, ooh, that's going to be close. I might have to make my paper smaller. Because I don't want that border. I think this side is going to have the white gap. Oh, I know. Okay, I have an idea. See, that's what I was trying to avoid. But can I do it? Just a little add-on. I'll just have to sponge real heavy over there. I could kind of see through where the black is. I don't know if that's worth it. You could just make your white paper on the inside smaller. Not bad. If I cut or if I sponge heavy, that's going to be blueberry bushel. That's all it's to it. Okay. Oh, but before I apply the ink with the blending brushes, I'm going to do the heat embossed white greeting right here in the middle. So what do we have going? Happy birthday! Your strength is an inspiration. I don't know if that's really a birthday thing. You're totally awesome. That's good for this. Our friendship is a thing of beauty. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's going to be the long one. Okay, let's try that. First a mark, then into white powder. With my Norway spoon. And make sure you heat it all the way, because when you do the blending brush, if it's not heated all the way, it's going to be powder and it's just going to swoosh off. Can't have that. Okay, you're like, I can't see that, but I'll show you. Okay, let's do some blending. Again, I'll start with the lightest. Tahitian Tide. And, oh, I've got more to work with this time. Tahitian Tide. It's like, what happened to glitter? And you know I asked that once before, and I know it's not biodegradable, so it's not a good thing. But I knew that. I know you can get online biodegradable glitters, but that would be nice to have glitter on here. Give me an excuse for bling. I'll put bling on it. Okay, and then the next lighter color is Azure Afternoon. Brand new pad. How about up here? Maybe a little at the end. I know I want blueberry bushel on the end to cover up that seam. There, this time you could really see both of the colors, both of them. And now, blueberry bushel. And blueberry can be, well, maybe I'll do it different. On the sample, I did blueberry on the inside to make the words stand out real well. So maybe, I don't know, maybe a combo. Maybe blueberry part of the way. So are you thinking that the words are looking a little darker? After the ink has a minute or two to dry, I'm going to take a tissue and buff the ink off of the heat embossed words. But I'll give it like a minute to dry. Okay, so that's blueberry. And how about azure? And I'm trying to keep it a little bit dark so that the words stand out. think every one will look different too. So if you have dark spots and then a little bit lighter, it's all okay. Okay, you could definitely see two colors in there. There's blueberry and then there's azure. Okay, and a few little flying seagulls. Maybe I'll do the seagulls after I buff this out. So here's a tissue, and so see the words, how you can kind of see them, and I'm just giving it like a minute to dry, and then just going to rub the tissue over the top, and that will take the ink from the blending brush off of the white embossing powder. And before you start rubbing too hard, just give it a little bit of a buff and then just leave it at that, because if you rub too hard, you'll press so hard that you'll knock the embossing powder off, and then it won't have any white to it. But see how that's a lot better. Okay, now the birds. They're in Memento. I could get carried away on the birds. But try not to rock the stamp, because if you push really hard, you'll get that line. So just tap, 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 a little pressure, and then straight up. Okay, I think that's it. Isn't this color pretty? Azure Afternoon. Oh, that goes together nice. Okay, so that's it for today's project. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the like button. It's appreciated. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.